Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the permaculture principles that a lot of people like and enjoy and it makes sense. And I'm not going to talk to you about it because it's a permaculture principle. I'm just going to talk to you about it because it makes sense. And as we've been living life and observing things, okay, that's part of it. Kind of sit back and observe and evaluate for a while. See what's going on first. And then after you figure out what's going on, then start making your moves. So moving from the city out to the country, there's obviously a learning curve. Rather than concrete and buildings, a lot of times it's trees and it's animals and it's different things that exist out in the natural world. So for us, there was a learning curve. As we began to evaluate things, I mean, if you look around, a lot of different trees, a lot of different plants, a lot of it was brand new to us when we got here because we also traveled like 750 miles south from where we had been. Now there's a couple things on this property that are huge blessings to us, but the only reason they're allowed to be huge blessings to us is because I didn't cut them down. Okay, the things I'm talking about are trees. And you've got to learn your native species. You know, as I look behind me, there's one I'm gonna take down. It's a big, tall, wild cherry. I'm going to take that down because as the leaves wilt and fall to the ground, there's a high cyanide content, and that could take things like my Jacob sheep and poison them and kill them, or my cows. I don't want that to happen, so we're kind of phasing out some of the existing stuff like the wild cherries. Now there's also a nice sassafras tree behind me. Well, that one's tasty and that one's good. And if you look here, you're going to notice the black haw berries. Look at these black haw berries. I won't get into the full thing here. I'll link a video from before about the black haw, but all these little berries, when I first learned about them, somebody said it was a raisin tree. And they taste a lot like a raisin. Now when I first met the tree, it just seemed like it had to be something. It looked like it had little almost apple-like leaves. The whole look of the plant, it just seemed like it had to be something. And when it flowers like an elderberry almost. And now this is one of the ones that's doing the best on our property. It's just covered in fruit. I'll let you take a look at it here. But each of these little berries, very tasty, taste similar to the raisin. They each have a black little, it looks like an oversized sesame seed, little seed in the middle of it. And I was at a friend's property once, and I started seeing a bunch of baby ones. And I'm like, man, these are all baby black haws. I'm like, you must have a black haw tree around here somewhere. And we were like literally under it. So you can do a number of things with these. They are nutritious, they are a food, they are good for animals too, but just because I started noticing them and decided, you know, I'm not cutting that down. That seems too valuable. It seems like it's got to be something. And then eventually I learned what it was. Before somebody even taught me that you could eat these little guys, and he called it a raisin tree, before I even learned that, it just seemed like the type of plant that would have value. And we have others here too. You got to see this next one. Now this may not look like much. Look, that's all the bigger this is. This is two little trees growing right next to each other. But when you look up, anyone recognize that? Diosporos virginia. Diosporos virginia. These are the American persimmons, and very, very cool. After a frost, or once they drop, kind of like our passion fruit, we wait for them to drop. And I think their taste almost like an orange freezer pop. Wow. Now, if you eat them before they are ripe, they're very astringent, and these do have seeds in them too. I'm thinking about trying to get some of the fuyu or kaki or some sort of Asian persimmon that grow bigger. And they're not astringent to actually graft into some of these. But look at this one branch, just how many is here. And look as I pull this down. Look at how much that is. That's a lot of food there. There is a lot of food in this tree if I check this out. Just look at all that way up there. All those balls. I mean, this is an insane amount of food. And this is just 2 little trees. Here some tent caterpillars got to it, but that's solid. This is an absolute ton of food. And what I asked Monster Truck to do, because who likes to eat these besides people?
Deer.
Deer. So deer don't really come here in my front pasture, but I asked them, hey, can you just pick up the ones that land on the ground and we'll go feed the deer with them? And check this out. Now that's probably 2 ice cream buckets full if you combine them all together. That one's pretty much full and those are each halves. But look at all that. That's what's already fallen to the ground besides the ones that you guys have been eating, right, Bug?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
Yeah.
What happens if they're not ripe? How do they taste?
Really bad.
Really bad? But how do the ones that are ripe taste?
Good.
Good, yeah. So, I mean, Monster Truck's up there now, and there is a ton. Look at all those little black balls everywhere. Well, the silhouettes, you know, they're black. They're actually orange, but you don't want to eat them before they're ripe. At this point, they're still really firm. I know they're going to taste like just nasty, like an alcohol pad for acne or something, like an OxyClean. Just nasty. But look at that. That's 2 ice cream buckets just off the ground. In years that we, you know, really reap a harvest, we could be making different jams or jellies out of the black haw. And out of this, we're giving our land a Sabbath year of rest this year. But I'm going to move this stuff to where the deer can get them. I think that's going to be good for them. And there's still, how many more ice cream buckets do you think we got up here, son?
Probably 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, I would believe that. Probably 3 or 4 more ice cream buckets full. So when you get a property, find out what's there. Observe things for a while first. We've got, oh yeah, here's another one. Right? This is just something that came with the property. White horehound. There is white horehound growing naturally on our property. People use this in a lot of stuff for like sore throats and colds and coughs. They used to have horehound candy. That's one of the ones here. Mullen's something that's here, but observe what's actually going on your property first. I could have cut down these trees. I should have said, oh, these are on my pasture. I just want a clean cut pasture. Cut these down. All that food would not be there. That's not good. That's not wise. It's best to wait a while, check out what's happening, observe, and then work around the things that are already established and doing well. What happened?
I found these on the ground.
We just found even more on the ground, huh? Yeah. If it was an off season, you know, trees, a lot of times you'll know them by their fruit. But if they weren't fruiting right now, and I walked up on this property for the first time and I didn't recognize this, I could think, just a couple little trees, probably not worth much. I mean, they're little. They're not that big. But when you think about food, when you think about food prices, when you think about nutrition and eating locally, eating organically, eating naturally, that's that's an ice cream bucket right there. That ain't the half of it. That ain't the half of it. We could nibble on these and eat these, and we have been, but we're going to use them to bless some of the animals too. In fact, our chickens would like these, our ducks would like these, our turkeys would like these, our guineas would like these, our sheep would like these, our cows would like these. You know, there's so much use from something like this, and because they've got seeds in them, we have the technology and the capability to grow more as we see fit. That is so fantastic. And I just love the power of a seed. This guy was eating pears the other day, right?
Yeah.
What'd you bring me over by my computer?
Seeds.
He brought me the seeds because he understands. How old are you?
5.
He's 5. He understands. You help us save garden seeds when we're gardening too? Yeah, because he knows. You can come down, son.
I found one more.
Another one? Awesome. You've had orange freezer pops before, right, son?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's what these taste like?
A little bit.
I think it's a pretty good description. There's other things too, you know, our animals, they like the acorns, they like other stuff, but especially for any one of you guys out there who is relocating your stuff to the wild, back to the land. Find out what you have for resources already. See, I use everything as resources. Look at the rocks. I use the rocks as resources. I use everything I can as a resource. Yeah, this could have been firewood too, but food is better when I have other trees that can be the firewood for us. So just wanted this to be a shorter, more inspirational one for you. These are things that I didn't know about years ago. I never had an American persimmon or a black haw 7 years ago, 8 years ago for sure. Now they're part of our diet on a yearly basis because we know what they are, and they were already here. They were prepared on this property before we even got here. And now that we're here, now we can kind of take stewardship of it, work with them, and receive the blessing that they provide. Something like this, guys, is absolutely amazing to me. Look at that. It's almost like a giant cluster of orange grapes. You said grapes, didn't you? That's almost what it's like. And it just comes back every year. Every year. No effort of our own. But, again, if I would have cut down these trees to begin with, oh, that would have been different. All right. We'll see you next time. Papa out.
Little Pepper's out. Little Pepper's out.